I just finished calculating the macros for today's recipe, keto hamburger buns. I think you're going to love this recipe. Super easy to make, very tasty, and costs a lot less than the kind of low-carb buns you can find at the supermarket. I mean, of course, you always have a choice of going without a bun or using iceberg lettuce for a bun or some creative solution that's very low carb that you'll find on a lot of keto blogs and websites, and those are delicious. But if you want a hamburger with a bun, what are you going to do, right? Well, I'm going to make my own buns, but if you generally don't want to do that, your first instinct is to buy buns at the supermarket. Here's one product that you can find at the supermarket that's a low-carb bun. It's made by a company called SOLA. It's low-carb, well, lower carb than bread made with wheat. The thing is that, the macros might seem kind of attractive on this, and we're going to look at them actually first. The problem is the ingredients. Let's have a look at this bun, though. 6 grams of net carbs, how bad can it be? A lot of you out there, probably like me, are thinking, well, I don't think that'll really kick you out of ketosis. The main thing is to count the number of grams of carbs that you're taking in, right? Well, there's a little more to it than that, as you know, but anyway, there you go. So if you're going to go for that, here's what you get. This is your basic SOLA hamburger bun. Comes in a package of 4. And as you can see, it's very nice looking. And if you want to just look at the grain of it, it's nice and airy. These are nice and spongy. They have a great feel to them. And it's pretty much like the kind of hamburger bun you would get if you bought one made with wheat flour. The macros are interesting. 140 calories, 6 grams of net carbs, 11 grams of protein, and 8 grams of fat. Not bad. Like I said, the problem, though, is the ingredients. Now, the keto police, they're going to come and catch you and put the cuffs on when they see this, but here's what you've got basically in these buns. The main ingredient is water. And then vital wheat gluten, soybean oil, resistant tapioca starch, oat fiber, resistant starch, yeast, egg, wheat flour, sunflower seed flour, soy flour, contains 2% or less of the following: vinegar, erythritol, salt, tagatose, flaxseed meal, non-fat milk, cellulose gum, sugar, buttermilk powder, additional enzyme, soy lecithin, guar gum, calcium phosphate, sorbic acid, enriched wheat flour, and they give the ingredients of that, which I'm not going to read to you, ascorbic acid, monk fruit extract, xanthan gum, natural flavors, stevia leaf extract, and it points out in bold letters too, as you can see right on the package, contains eggs, milk, soy, and wheat. If you check these ingredients, keto says no. Here's my keto bun. Check it out. Has the same airy texture, same spongy feel as the SOLA bun, but it's made with simple ingredients. They're all just fine for the keto diet, so you don't even have to wonder about them. Compare. Here are the 2 buns. Here's the SOLA bun. Here's my bun. My bun is slightly smaller in diameter, but I weighed them, and they each weigh 61 grams. They're both exactly the same weight. This bun, at its cheapest, cost $1. At its most expensive, $2. This one costs 60 cents. And you're not going to believe how easy it is. Come on into the kitchen. Let me show you. Just like with any bread recipe, we're going to start by mixing together our dry ingredients. First, we've got 3 ounces, that's 84 grams, or a cup, of almond flour. This is blanched almond flour. If you use unblanched, your buns will have sort of a whole wheat kind of a look. To this, I'm going to add 1/4 cup, that's 28 grams, or 1 ounce of ground golden flaxseed. If you use brown, again, it'll just make your final product a little darker. We're also going to add in 1 ounce, that is 28 grams, or 1/4 cup, of coconut flour, as well as 2 tablespoons of ground psyllium husks, and 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. If you don't have it, use baking powder, but baking soda is what you want here. We're also going to add in 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I use kosher salt. I'm going to mix these ingredients together with a whisk to combine them thoroughly. Try to get out any lumps that are there. And there we go, pretty much. I'm going to set this aside and let's mix together our wet ingredients. Here I've got 3 egg whites and 1 whole egg, and I'm going to beat them together until the yolk is pretty thoroughly combined with the whites. To this, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. You could use other vinegar or even lemon juice, and acid is what we want. It'll react with the baking soda. And 3/4 of a cup of water. Give it a mix, and then bring back our dry mixture and simply combine. You could do this using a food processor or a hand mixer if you want, but it's perfectly fine to do this with a fork just like I'm doing here. Now, I know what you're thinking. This can't possibly work. It's too loose. It's too liquid. But actually, I think you'll see that when we let this rest for about 15 minutes, it's going to firm up, just like it's doing already here. And you're going to see it'll become more dough-like, and it'll be very easy for us to form our buns. Now after 15 minutes, here's what it looks like. It's a nice lump like this. It's fairly solid, as you can see. It's still a little wet and sticky. Don't be disconcerted by that. If you think it's way too much, you could sprinkle it with a little coconut flour, but it's really not necessary. I'm going to divide this into 6 more or less equal pieces, first in half, and then each one into thirds. And then roll each one into a ball shape. Just like this. And then I'm going to put them on a parchment-lined baking sheet, just like this. And in no time at all, you've got a tray full of these beautiful little golden buns. Sticks to your hands a little bit. You can, actually, if you like. I don't like to waste anything. Just scrape it right off your hands and add it to one of your buns. Why waste it? Seriously, why waste this stuff? Next, we're going to bake these in an oven preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 175 Celsius, for 45 to 50 minutes. And here they are, hot out of the oven. This is after 50 minutes. Don't they look great? I'm going to remove them to a wire rack to let them cool completely before I cut them and use them for any kind of sandwich. And let's not forget the macros. Check this out. The whole recipe has 927.6 calories, 16.4 grams of net carbs, 44 grams of protein, and 73.5 grams of fat. Now, I divided it into 6 portions, so each of my buns has 154.6 calories, 2.7 grams of net carbs as opposed to 6 for the SOLA bun, 7.3 grams of protein, 11 grams in the SOLA bun, and 3.1 grams of fat, 8 grams in the SOLA bun. Anyway, you can see mine is easy to make. It's delicious, simple ingredients, no wheat, no sugar, no having to worry about it. What are you waiting for? And here's just a little tip. Once they're completely cooled off, these freeze really well, and I think it's really the best way to keep them. So, like these right here, I keep them in the freezer, and whenever I want a sandwich, I take one out, thaw it for a little while, about 15 minutes, cut it in half, pass it under the broiler really quick, and make a lovely sandwich out of it. And you know what? You keep these on hands, you've got a quick lunch or a quick dinner anytime. Before you go, don't forget to like, share, comment, and especially subscribe to my channel. Helps my channel grow and helps you find my videos, especially if you click on that notifications bell. Thanks so much for joining us here today at Tim Talks Cooking How. We'll catch you next time.